don't think anybody expected it for it to come so quick. Early on, I just want to say, I thought I would never see it in my lifetime, actually. Mm-hmm. But I think that it was key that America had enough foresight to say, look, we've effed up pretty bad. So this guy is the perfect face. The powers that be. I don't believe in the Electoral College.
What's your rewind?
Ghetto Geek, ready.
I ride the bicycle, but you can call it scooter. Geeking when I'm teaching, so you can call me tutor. No manure, that means no bullshit. And when I'm off in class, homeboy, I push it. It's my pulpit. Like pastors when they preaching, popping collars as a scholar, cause I be ghetto geeking.
What up, what's good? It sounds like Ghetto Geek Radio. Happy Memorial Day weekend. A-Dub Productions here. On the line, I got my man Out of Bounds. Are you with me?
I'm with you, A-Dub. What's good?
Chilling here in the studio, building this brand hand by hand. So tell us about your Memorial Day weekend and, of course, the discussion that's going down today.
My Memorial Day weekend is super fragilistic expialidocious, homie. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, we down here in that H, just rolling through the city. You know, I got some stuff on the grill over here. Got some chicken, you know what I'm saying? Got some ribs.
Uh-oh.
And I have some turkey burgers. You heard me?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Everything is lovely. We're down here just chilling. We're about to get into some stuff today on race. We're going to have an interracial conversation on race.
Okay.
We got Julie Kennedy stopping by. Julie Kennedy J. She's going to try to get herself something to eat. But we're going to have a conversation amongst this barbecue right here on how we can grow as a nation and a community in ways that we've avoided. And race, of course, we know we have avoided a serious conversation between the races on this. So as your local ghetto geek, you know what I'm talking about, and your transnational ghetto geek, Out of Bounds,
right,
with the help of Julie Kennedy J today, we're going to make this Memorial Day a better one than it possibly could have been.
All right, sounds good. You all the way live, my man, so you can take it away.
Hello, this is your man Out of Bounds again from Ghetto Geeks Radio. We are now talking and moving on to our other wonderful quote-unquote taboo topic. We're trying to uncover race today. We are on the line with Julie Kennedy. She hails from the Austin area. We went to Manor High School together. We graduated in 95, didn't we, Julie?
Yes, yeah.
Yes. You know, I always had a good opinion of you, Julie. I want you to know that.
Good to know.
Wonderful. So after high school, you went to Trinity University, correct?
That's right, yeah.
San Antonio, Texas?
Uh-huh.
Okay, wonderful. English, you can check her out. You have I went to Fortune Cookie Photography as well.
Yeah,
nice stuff.
I wear a lot of hats. Yeah, I'm primarily my day job is as a writer. And I have a website, a professional website, JuliaKennedyJays.com, and that's Jayes is my last name.
That's wonderful. Julie, let's see who we can uncover here.
Great.
Question number 1. How do you define race?
How do I define it? As a writer, part of me wants to come at that from a literal side. But really, in my mind, I think there's two sorts of divisions that I see playing out. The first is the biological description of what race is, meaning the differences that you can see at the level of DNA. The most common of those being traits that we can see physically, like the color of skin, the type of hair, the shape of eyes, those sorts of things. But then on a cultural level, I think we as human beings have a much more fine-tuned sense of what we mean by race that is subdivided a lot further than that biological description. For me, I think race crosses over a number of other lines that have far more meaning culturally, including where you fit in your society's given economic range,
right.
The kinds of access you're given to certain aspects of society, and what things you're maybe not granted, and of course your gender plays a large role in that too, as well as your sexuality and other aspects of culture that sometimes go hand in hand with race.
Okay. Let me just ask you a question.
Yep.
I'm coming from guys like Michael Dyson, Cornel West, a little Asante possibly, Dick Gregory in his certain text on race later in the 60s and stuff. Stuart Hall possibly with his cultural studies bend on him. Race, how do you feel about statements as, or do you think this is consistent with your particular beliefs? But race can be seen both biologically and culturally or socially. Do you feel, and I'm going to use the term essentializing, do you think there's a stronger natural correlation between looking at race through a biological point of view, or do you think that race has its race as we know it has its basis as a social construct, as something that is actually isn't in the natural, but men have used biological characteristics to create this social construct,
right?
So essentially, am I asking, in your mind's eye, do you feel that race is more of a social construct or more of a natural or physical one?
Okay, my answer to that is that I view the constraints and the associations that we view with race as a man-made construct. My evidence for that is not all that highly academic, but it comes straight from personal experience. In that, I've never met a child who was old enough to display social interaction who naturally feared people from other cultures or religions. In fact, most of them have a very basic natural instinct to interact with other children regardless of these, the physical appearances, until they're taught by whatever forces, be it their parents or society at large, that there are supposed to be differences, and until they're instructed on what those differences are usually for the worse. And you see another, if you want to look at it, argue it from the other side, you see in all sorts of species, you see physical differences that are no more important than the ones that you see displayed in the human race, and yet animals do not biologically show preference for one. Cats don't care what color their fur is. So I think that the constructs and the stereotypes and all of those things that we layer on top come much more from the man-made side of things. And I don't know that that's something that you have to necessarily fault people for. Part of it, sociologically speaking, comes from the fact that people came from different geographical locations, and there was physical separation, and there were differences in lifestyle that went along with how they had to live in order to subsist, and things that went along with religion and all sorts of other cultural aspects that reinforced those separations. Mm-hmm. But even given that, you see time and time again in history that men, speaking globally, including women, when societies come in contact with one another, clearly there's a drive to cross those lines. You see that going back through.
Do you mean cross these lines as in miscegenation, or you mean cross these lines as instead of lines not to be crossed?
No, I mean genetically and sociologically, that people, whether or not it's taboo, tend to seek mates out from other groups. And
so, are you speaking towards interracial dating and sexual relationship?
Yeah, but even at a more grassroots, brutal level from prehistory. And of course, you could argue that has genetic roots, that it's always wise to expand your gene pool. But in other words, I'm just trying to say that I don't think that there's a biological reason to classify along race lines.
Okay, so we'll just go right into the third one. There's a nice little meld here.
Okay.
Third question is, what then are your opinions on contemporary racial situations in the United States today at a contemporary level?
Oh, wow, that's broad. Give me an example.
Let's tweak it down a little bit then. Great, this is excellent. Quality of life. Let's talk about quality of life. This can be health, as far as health care. You can go into a political debate, of course. I have no problem going into politics.